historic event, and it's very important for you to all be here. We stand at a turning point in the history of the battle to end animal research. Cutting-edge technology has provided non-animal methods which literally are making animal experimentation obsolete. Public opinion is changing in our favor such that literally half of the US population are now opposed to the use of animals in medical research. And the industry is running scared. I don't have a day where I don't see puff pieces and editorials published which extol the virtues and the necessity of animal research. Laboratories are hiring PR firms to try to repair their sullied reputations. Regulatory agencies are levying historic six-figure fines against the criminal laboratories that are breaking the minimal laws which purport to protect animals in laboratories. We are taking major steps towards the end of animal experimentation in rapid-fire succession. This is precisely the time when our movement should be ratcheting up our anti-vivisection work to deliver the knockout punch and end animal experimentation forever. It's up to us to take the steps right now which will end animal research. And that's correct. I said right now, because we don't have to wait until the world becomes vegan to end animal research. Those of us who are working to end animal research are closing labs, ending the use of animals in education, and destroying the public reputation of animal research industry by exposing their criminal behavior in the news media. We are also removing the only real motivation to perform animal experimentation, which is money, by literally reaching into the bank accounts of animal laboratories and removing their funds. In the last several months, the White Coat Waste Project led a successful national campaign that exposed previously unknown dog experiments within the Veterans Affairs laboratories, shut down dog experiments at the Los Angeles VA, and successfully lobbied US Congress to unanimously pass bipartisan legislation to defund all painful dog experiments in the VA in fiscal year 2018. The New England Anti-Vivisection Society and its affiliated organization, the American Fund for Alternatives to Animal Research, is supporting landmark research into alternatives. And if I was to discuss all of the projects they support, I literally wouldn't have any time to get to anything else. So I'd like to just bring up one example. There's currently a project at Harvard's WIS Institute which works with the biometric heart on a chip to study sex differences in cardiovascular structure and function. This is cutting-edge technology, exactly the kind of thing which is making the use of animals in laboratories obsolete. In the summer of 2016, just before the Animal Rights Conference convened in Los Angeles, the organization which I co-founded, Stop Animal Exploitation Now, concluded an 8-year campaign which culminated with the closure of Santa Cruz Biotechnology. This heinous lab, which abused over 6,000 rabbits and goats every year, not only had to surrender their registration as a research facility and their license as an animal dealer, they were also required to pay a record $3.5 million fine. to work with the USDA to cause record fines. Towards the end of 2016, following at least 6 SAEN official complaints to the USDA, the Shin Nippon Biomedical Laboratory was forced to pay a $185,000 federal fine. And just before this conference started, the USDA announced a $100,000 federal fine against the University of Louisiana Lafayette. We are literally taking away their money. Turning to the educational system, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine ended student animal labs in the medical school at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. And this was truly a historic event because this was the last medical school in the US or Canada using animals in the medical curriculum. PCRM also ended the use of animals for pediatrics residency programs at Washington University in St. Louis. And this was another historic step because this was the last U.S. pediatrics program using animals in education. Another historic event took place when PETA, in conjunction with U.S. Representative Lucille Roybal Abelard, forced the U.S. Coast Guard to end the use of animals in their branch of the armed forces for trauma training drills. This was the first step in this direction, and we believe it is going to be the end of the use of animals in trauma training in the military. One of the issues which I'm certain many of you heard about this last year was the scurrilous action of the USDA, which removed hundreds of thousands of federal reports from their website. The public statement about this was that this was being done to protect the privacy of individuals whose personal information was posted there. Excuse my language. Bullshit. I have seen the forms that were on the website, and I have seen the forms that are coming out now. They are no different. There never was any personal information out there. This was done to protect the industries that abuse animals. And I have to say that in the wake of this event, many organizations that are represented here in the conference contacted the news media and denounced these events as bullshit. The news was picked up by the Washington Post, CNN, BuzzFeed News, McClatchy News, the Christian Science Monitor, and virtually every major media outlet across the United States. And every organization I'm aware of was involved in this because this affected not only animal research, but animal breeders, animal dealers, circuses, zoos. If an industry abused animals, this was relevant. And it was an incident where I was actually proud to see that the movement was united in denouncing what a government agency did. In the last year, anti-animal research activists have used the news media very successfully to denounce and expose what the animal research industry does. PETA released shocking video from within the laboratories of two major universities, Texas A&M and the University of Pittsburgh, which exposed a horrendous treatment of animals and multiple violations of the Federal Animal Welfare Act. Since Animal Rights 2016, SAEN has garnered over 100 news stories on the animal research issue. And we believe that news coverage is the cause of the change of public opinion on the animal research issue. Within the last several years, there have been 2 polls by public opinion organizations not affiliated to the animal rights movement, which have shown landmark progress in this area. It was about 2 years ago that the Pew Research Center published a poll saying that 50% of the U.S. population is opposed to the use of animals in medical research. And just this last year, the well-known Gallup polling company revealed a poll that said that 44% of the U.S. population is opposed to the use of animals in laboratories. Clearly, we are winning in terms of public opinion. One example of how we do this is relevant to a laboratory that many of you may not have heard of. It's the University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston. You should have heard of this facility because this is one of only 5 biosafety level 4 laboratories in the U.S. And they have a particular problem. They seem to have issues with keeping the animals in the cages, which should concern everyone. In the last year, we were able to expose malfeasance at the University of Texas Medical Branch, such that they have been now fined by the USDA $33,000. They were forced to, shall we say, reassign their institutional official into different responsibilities because they were clearly failing and not making sure that they were following relevant federal laws and regulations. We were also able to expose that things within their mouse research was so poorly done and so unscientific that they actually barred one of their own staff from ever working with animals again. This is the kind of thing that the public needs to know, because this is how we demonstrate that not only is animal research unethical, it is unscientific. In the last year, SAEN, the White Coat Waste Project, PETA, and PCRM has successfully used single-issue campaigns which were focused on specific branches of the government or specific facilities to cause concrete change for animals in the here and now. And this demonstrates conclusively that single-issue campaigns are a vital part of our work for animals. With all of the technological advances that we have seen in the last several years, there is literally no reason to be using animals in laboratories. With 3D bioprinting, with organ-on-a-chip technology, with human simulators such as Trauma Man for medical education, it is clear that the only reason for using animals in science anymore is greed. The funding that these experiments bring into laboratories prevents us from making real progress. In the time that I have been working in the anti-vivisection area, I have seen major changes. Especially in the last 5 years, I have seen changes that I never thought possible. Harvard's Primate Research Center is closed. Just last year, Santa Cruz Biotechnology was closed. We are seeing 6-figure fines regularly, which prove that animal laboratories are criminals. There are now no medical schools in the US or Canada that use animals in education. Public opinion is on our side. 50% of the US population oppose the use of animals in laboratories. I stand here before you today to announce the beginning of the end of animal experimentation. And the animal rights movement in the United States was virtually founded on opposition to animal research. As a movement, we must not be foolish enough to walk away from this issue now when victory is within our grasp. The lives of hundreds of millions of animals depend on us. Only one thing can prevent us from consuming and finishing this issue, and that is fear. Fear that the animal research industry is too large and too powerful. Fear that the public has been too thoroughly brainwashed, because after all, it is your dog or your child, isn't it? if we fail to understand that we are actually ending animal research now, we will settle for mere welfare reforms. If we fail to see that justice for animals requires freedom, we will not close the labs, we will only clean them up. This is a huge tactical mistake. Welfarism is a lie. We cannot make animal experimentation humane. We cannot make animal experimentation humane any more than we can make furs humane, or circuses humane, or slaughterhouses. I have been an animal rights activist for 31 years. I have no interest in clean cages. I want only empty ones. I am an animal rights activist. I do not want regulated animal experiments. I want no animal experiments. And as an animal rights activist, I don't want zoos or circuses which imprison animals for entertainment. I want zoos and circuses shut down permanently. And because I am an animal rights activist, I don't want to see the animal exploitation industries using things like cage-free eggs or humane slaughter to market their products. I want to end all animal consumption. We are not here as apologists for animal industries or to clean them up. We are here to bury them. In closing, I have a short message for the representatives of the animal research industry that we know always attend this conference. Firstly, Farm thanks you for your registration fees. Second, you better start looking for a new job.